at Dunkin' Donuts a few blocks away. Surveillance duty is usually given to newly minted agents fresh out of the FBI Academy at Quantico, Virginia. It is a way for the new agents to learn the geography of a place like New York City, while at the same time making observations of people and places that might prove crucial in some investigation months or even years down the road. Any observation, even those made at a distance so great that nothing could be overheard, might prove important if it later corroborated something a witness might say in court or to a grand jury. Special agents Kimberly McCaffrey and Jeffrey Salette had done their share of surveillance drudgery when they joined the FBI some years earlier. But on January 9, 2003, the two agents had a different task. Dressed in dark blue raid jackets that were embossed with the large yellow letters that spelled out FBI, McCaffrey and Salette exited an official government sedan and walked up the front walk on 84th Street. Accompanying them were three other law enforcement officials, an Internal Revenue Service agent, a state police officer, and another FBI agent. The IRS agent made his way stealthily around the back of the house, taking care to avoid the covered swimming pool. McCaffrey and Salette led the others up the walkway. The morning was chilly, and at 6 a.m. the neighborhood was quiet. McCaffrey rang the doorbell. It might have been early, but it was Massino, his hair neatly combed and fully dressed in a black pullover and large-sized sweatpants, who opened the front door. It was at that very instant that the two FBI agents, who had been studying and watching Massino from a distance for over 4 years, finally came face to face with their quarry. Though his pasta belly and mirthful grin gave him a genial appearance, Massino had a gaze that could be penetrating, steely, and cold. It was a look that could pull you in and captivate with its strength. It could also scare you. Slightly arched eyebrows made him always look as though he were expressing surprise. Yet, on this particular morning, Joseph Massino was not surprised. "How are you?" he said. He surveyed the agents and police arrayed on his doorstep and looked at the black government sedan in front of his house. Since he had seen the other government vans in the neighborhood over previous days and had been arrested before, Massino knew that something was coming down. The numerous cars that had shadowed him the night before also added to his feeling of apprehension. After McCaffrey flashed her FBI credentials, Massino replied quickly, almost glibly, "I was expecting you yesterday." McCaffrey, a diminutive woman whose dark hair, black eyes, and fair skin bespoke her Irish roots, had to chuckle at his bravado. Here was a man who was hijacking trucks in the 1970s before she was even born, a killer who is said to have boasted about being a one-man killing machine. But she also knew he could be a gentleman, a charmer, and certainly there was no hint of him causing any trouble. He will go peacefully, McCaffrey thought. So began the day that Joseph Massino, the boss of one of New York City's 5 legendary mafia families and the last Don, left his home in Howard Beach to live, courtesy of the U.S. government, in jail for the rest of his foreseeable life. Massino's wife of 42 years, Josephine, a petite and stylish, Titian-haired Sicilian, dressed in her pajamas and housecoat, could do little but watch stoically and tight-lipped as her spouse walked down the front way toward the government car. Josephine Massino had witnessed this trip into incarceration before, when Massino had been arrested in the 1980s. It led to a wearying routine of jailhouse visits and uncertainty. In recent days, as her husband's sense of apprehension grew, she felt her own anxiety mount. The timing couldn't have been worse. She was expecting an important call that very day from her oncologist. She would have to face that without him. It was more than just the presence of the government surveillance cars, long a common fixture in a neighborhood that was home to other gangsters, that had tipped Massino to impending trouble. Federal investigators had been snooping around Massino and his businesses for years, and word had gotten back to him fairly quickly when subpoenas started landing around town. Then there were the arrests. One by one, FBI agents started picking off some of Massino's old cronies. Frank Cappa was in prison on securities fraud charges when he found himself indicted.